So everybody knows I love football and I love Tottenham.
Defoe! That is quite outstanding from Jermain Defoe.
So here we are at the Spurs Stadium, right next to the London Academy of Excellence. One of the things I'm most passionate about is seeing young people fulfil their potential.
Here at LAET, we have great aspirations going to uni or maybe doing an apprenticeship. So when you started football, what was your aspirations? Where did you want to get to?
I just wanted to get to the top. Just dedicated myself to what I was doing, but I just set the bar really high. I just thought, well, I just want to get to the top. I want to obviously play in the Premier League and score goals because I love scoring goals, and I want to play for England.
Jermain Defoe, who's obviously a very historic player for the club, so it was good to hear from him on how he had to overcome his struggles to get to the top, so I could take a lot from that.
My name's Jan Balon and I'm the head teacher of London Academy of Excellence, Tottenham. Winning the Community Captain Award is a great kind of symbol of the work that's gone on here over the last 5 years. Obviously I'm proud for myself and really elated for myself, but more importantly for all the students that have studied here and all the support of the staff here and also the club in helping this school become the school that it is today.
Well, I think Jan is well deserved, the Community Captain Award, for what he's done to inspire, hundreds of children to go on and fulfil their dreams.
Many people here from disadvantaged backgrounds, both socioeconomically and in other factors, and the college does everything they can with the funding and everything they can do to really help us grow as a person.
The Academy opened 5 years ago and is at the top of its game. Many students from disadvantaged backgrounds in London go on to top universities, including more than 30 to Oxford and Cambridge.
We're so fortunate to have the support and the sponsorship from Tottenham Hotspur. Not only does it bring huge resource to our daily activities, but also just the aspiration that the club brings. You've got an elite, world-leading football club here. Students are studying in this incredible building that Spurs have provided for us, and it just raises the bar for those students, and it's a huge part in the success that they go on to have.
Obviously the work that they do with some of the kids that obviously from disadvantaged backgrounds, helping them to get their education. On the top of that, stuff that's constructive with their lives. It's inspiring to come today because, it's something that I've always enjoyed doing. The football side of it's important, but at the same time, I think giving back to the community is something that I, as a player and now as a coach, ambassador, is something that going forward I look forward to doing more. And because I realise how important it is. Growing up in the East End of London, I would have loved something like this, a facility like this to help me further my education and fulfil my dreams.
Hello and welcome to The Last Word on Spurs. We hope you're keeping very, very safe and well. Thank you so much for joining us for a feature special here during this World Cup break, and we're recording live and direct from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on behalf of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Thank you so much for watching us, listening to us from wherever you are around the world. We're delighted to be joined by a number of great guests on Last Word on Spurs, but of course, alongside me, our crazy train runner, Inspector Conductor, I've got the wonderful Lee McQueen alongside me. Lee, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very well. Hopefully, looking forward to a bit of a break, but I'm really excited to be here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with these two fine guests, which I'm sure you're going to introduce, Rick.
Yeah, absolutely. We're delighted on Last Word on Spurs to be welcoming two fresh guests to the show. First up, he is Tottenham Hotspur's community captain, and recognised for that, we've got the wonderful Jan Balon joining us. Jan, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for having me on. Appreciated. Looking forward to it.
Pleasure's all ours. Thank you so much for joining us. And we've also got Johnson alongside us. Johnson, how are you?
I'm great, thanks. Looking forward to it as well.
Listen, likewise, pleasure is all ours. Guys, this is again a really, I'd say, bit of a sentimental show for us on Last Word on Spurs. Sure. We're recording, as we've said, in and around the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We are at the London Academy School of Excellence here at Spurs, and I think for us it's a real good opportunity to really kind of connect with the fan base that we've got, the inner circles of Tottenham Hotspur, and today is an opportunity to really raise some wonderful awareness to what's been happening in and around the club, and delighted to have you both here. Now, Jan, you was named as Tottenham Hotspur's community captain in recognition for the incredible work which you've done as a local, head teacher in and around the area, and as part of that, you was recognised with an award. Firstly, tell us what it means for you to be a head teacher in the local area.
So we set up this school, I was involved in setting up this school in 2017, and we've kind of built up to over 600 students now who are in this local area. you know, and going on to really great academic success. We've got Johnson here just representing the student body, and he'll tell you a little bit more, I think. But yeah, it was lots of nice things have happened over the last few years, and showing that Tottenham is not only a world-class football club, but it also has amazing educational opportunities is something really unique, I think. So it was incredible getting, you know, having Jermain Defoe, you know, come and surprise me, to be honest. It was exciting enough meeting him, never mind being surprised and winning an award and being given it by him. It was really special.
It's interesting, Jan. You touched upon kind of Jermain coming and giving you the award, but I just want to touch upon how the feeling is locally around the community, because, you know, just under 610 students, as you mentioned, that's a huge amount of students in that sixth form in the academy. How has it been? A lot of our fan base won't realise that this even exists, let alone it's been going since, you know, built out since 2017. How has that process been for you?
I mean, it's been an amazing experience, to be honest. I think educationally, you know, Tottenham, you've got this incredible football club sitting here, and then you've for a long time had a sense that maybe, you know, there's certain issues in the local community, and certainly education. There's some great schools, but people maybe haven't perceived that to be the case. So it's been amazing kind of being involved in the setup of a school which has won national awards. We've Sunday Times State Sixth Form of the Year, and kind of showing, to be honest, the talent that exists in Tottenham educationally. And I think that's a really exciting kind of exciting thing to be able to show, and it's an exciting place therefore to work. Yeah,
just following on from that as well. You know, Haringey has its challenges as a borough. But it doesn't mean to say there isn't talent, and there is talent everywhere you look, and Tottenham is one of them key areas again for unrepresented or untapped talent.
That's exactly it, and there's different types of talent, right? I'm sure that, you know, the Tottenham Academy would be full of incredibly talented sporting youngsters, for sure. But there's not, you know, that's not the only thing that Tottenham young people can achieve. There's you know, there's other routes of success, and I'm really proud that so many of our Tottenham students go on to such amazing success, and they fully deserve it because they work really hard.
Brilliant stuff, and it's a range of different subjects as well. And obviously we'll bring Johnson in a second. There's a range of different subjects. It's not just focused around because it's part of Tottenham and it's football. People might be thinking it's just football, but it isn't at all, is it?
No, not at all. And actually, that's one of the special things with the links with Tottenham. This is kind of Tottenham going beyond, you know, what's natural to maybe a football club to be doing, and for a football club to be sponsoring a school which is an incredibly academic school, which sends lots of students on to top leading universities, Oxford and Cambridge every year, is pretty incredible. And we just wouldn't be able to do that without the club.
No, fantastic.
Yeah. Now, just to bring Johnson in there, Johnson, from your end, you are one of the students at the school. I think it's worth highlighting that you actually are from Tottenham, right? You're down the road, it's within walking distance. Just tell us that feeling, what it is like for you to be part of what is now being recognised as a wonderful academy, and as the name says, a London Academy of Excellence in Tottenham. What does that mean to you?
I mean, like, it's great, right? Because I grew up in Tottenham, and I've always seen talent. I've always seen academic potential here, but sometimes we just didn't have the forum to sort of show that. So being able to come to a school where, you know, we have a focus on academics, and, you know, we all enjoy the subjects that we're doing. We're all doing really well. It's great.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've got to say, the words there, again, that sentimental aspect where Johnson is from the local area, and you can really tell by the passion and enthusiasm in his voice. He obviously is really enjoying his time, and that's credit to you, of course, Jan, for leading that focus for us. And, you know, I'm sure Lee's going to touch upon the fact of how that felt for you being presented with the award. But, I mean, you said there from your end, you know, that the pride you feel in the role. Just maybe just to lean on that a little bit further, just give us what it's been like to see the overall progression, the transformation of the school since its opening and where it is today. That must be quite an incredible thing to be a part of.
Yeah, and I mean, I think back to 2016, it would have been when I first came before this school opened, and kind of saw the facilities that were here. You know, we were in Lily White House, we're in the same building as the club offices. And, you know, to see these facilities here kind of available for the local young people was so exciting. But then, you know, it's a challenge, because turning that into something which is actually working and students that are going on to great success is a scary thought. You know, last year now we had 2,500 applications to come to the school. Wow. So there's not only is it Tottenham young people that want to study here, but there's loads of people from other parts of London that are wanting to come into Tottenham, and even better, right? Because we're right next to this incredible stadium in this incredible club. But, you know, there's other reasons that you might want to come here and succeed, and you know, that's a really powerful thing, I think, for the area. And I've worked in this area for nearly 20 years.
Build it, they will come. Yeah.
Exactly,
build it, they will come.
Exactly.
Right? And that's the reality. Johnson, touching, come back over to you, just touching upon kind of your experience here so far. Just give us, the viewers and listeners some authentic experience. What's it like actually attending every day? What was the process like getting in? Just heard it from Jan there. There's 2,500 applications coming in for trying to get squeezed down to 600 essentially for next year. What's it been like for you so far, the experience?
Right, so I'd say the day-to-day experience, obviously with the school we have like two things that we sort of stand for, which is academic rigor and social responsibility. And I guess it's just being able to actually experience both, because a lot of times you hear things and not necessarily the same.
Yeah.
But last month I had the pleasure of hosting a Black History Month where we had many events throughout the month, and that shows the social responsibility. But also I've really been able to get really passionate about my 3A levels, enjoy them, and like do further reading outside of them, which is something that I have to admit the school's played a role in. So you get a bit of both there. And in terms of the application, it wasn't too hard. I think there was an interview process. I had to write a little something about why I wanted to study my subjects.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And what are you studying? I know we were talking about Spanish before. We was having some Spanish. Yours is much better than mine, to be fair. But
so
you're studying Spanish.
Spanish, politics and English literature.
Yeah.
Wow.
Brilliant.
Yeah, no, that is fantastic. Obviously, we've touched upon, Jan, the fact that, the progression of the school, we're seeing that, and the way in which, obviously, Tottenham have helped make that possible. I think, what also is clear, you can see, we've said the progression, but how you've masterminded the partnerships of independent schools around London to support the students' learning and success. Just give us a bit of background of how that's been for you and how you've managed to accomplish that.
Yeah, so it's a really interesting part of the school, I think. So our big education sponsor is Highgate School, which is in Haringey, but the other side of Haringey.
Yeah.
And they're a huge link for us, and they second a number of our teachers are employed by them, but work here in Tottenham. And again, you're kind of bringing in kind of expertise, talent to Tottenham in the way that the football club does, but in a kind of a different sphere.
Like a loan move, isn't it? So that we were talking about before, isn't it? Loan players or loan teachers.
There's no maximum on our loans. But then we have really good relationships. There's 8 other independent schools. There's schools like Harrow that people may have heard of, and North London Collegiate School, and a bunch of other independent schools. And the fact is, lots of people that work in those schools want to be working with really aspirational, motivated young people from Tottenham, and that's an exciting thing to realise as well.
We did quite a lot of work actually in my actual day job with Harrow College actually. Quite a lot of work around there and actually building out employability academies, so getting people ready for when they're leaving, if they're not going to go on to university, if they're going to go into work and that type of stuff. How does the London School of Excellence really look at that side of things? Actually building our next generation ready for work, because that's part of the toolkit, isn't it? That we're building, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. And obviously you're trying to support, and Johnson will have had experiences, but you're trying to support people to get really good grades, because ultimately they're like your currency to get into the next stage. But it's also about giving, especially students who might not have so much access to kind of opportunities, sort of careers opportunities, and bringing on kind of corporate support and companies who can give students a bit of an experience of what it's like to work, in an office somewhere, is really powerful. So there's a lot of that goes on. And you can. It's easy to underestimate that actually.
Yeah.
It's easy just to focus on the grades ultimately, but that's not. That's a part of.
It's part of that
education, right?
toolkit, isn't it? That part of that package. Johnson, just quickly on to you as well, if I may. How I found the process and actually enjoying, loving life here, but do you think that the opportunity would have been different if Tottenham hadn't had sponsored and built, or Jan had built this Academy of Excellence? Do you think it would have been a harder opportunity for you to go into further education somewhere else?
Oh yeah, certainly. Because I guess as much as I enjoy my A-levels, I feel like the culture that's around the school allows me to stay motivated and do well. And I guess had I been somewhere else without the culture, not to say that the culture is solely here, I may not have been as motivated to do well.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a big part of it though, isn't it? When everyone's together, we were talking off camera, but we were talking about that kind of social element, and we're talking about COVID and how that's changed, not just education, but everywhere, like working practice and that type of stuff. But I don't think we can underestimate the level of being around other people, Jan, would you agree?
Yeah, no, definitely. And it was fascinating actually when Jermain was here and with the award, he was talking a little bit about his experience obviously as an elite sportsman, and it was fascinating listening to some of the things he talked about, culture within a team, And to be honest, it's very similar, right? It's about how do you set the culture for an organisation, and as Johnson says, it sort of drags some people along, some people lead that culture. There's some fascinating kind of similarities, and we've been lucky enough to have other visits from, we've had Eric Dyer here, we've had Ben Davies here, and listening to them talk, it always, I always pull out the sort of similarities between a high-performing football team and a business
or
in this case,
workplace
a school.
or a college or a school.
It
is really interesting, actually.
Just on that, to pick up on that question for Johnson, when you're hearing the likes of obviously Eric Dyer here, Ben Davies here, Jermain Defoe here, from someone that maybe loves football, loves Tottenham, and you look at these players, generally, like I say, just even from an athlete perspective, when you hear somebody like that, does that give you even more of the hunger, desire to want to achieve, to want to go on and further your career, and whatever that may be, when you see leaders in front of you that have gone on, as footballers we know, with footballers obviously, it's about discipline, it's about work rate, commitment, desire, mentality, and you're hearing from these people that ultimately, hopefully, give you the inspiration, whatever you choose your career to be in, to one day be as committed to what they're looking to do.
Yeah, I guess seeing them in real life sort of breaks that fourth wall. You realise that they're real, and when you're hearing what they're saying, what they've done, you're thinking, I guess that's sort of achievable, or that's something I could do if I did X, Y, Z.
Yep.
And just them being there is a sort of a sort of drive, and
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's really interesting. The importance, Jan, to come back over to you, of the club building the new stadium, to build out these opportunities for local, not just local students, but for local people. The regeneration, if I can use that word, of the area is so important, isn't it? To be able to give back into the area that is going to be, next 10, 20, 30, 40 years or so, while this stadium ages well, hopefully. That's going to be the next generation and the next generation. It's really important, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's almost more difficult, because the stadium is so incredible. It also almost makes it more of a challenge, because it feels more away from the local. It's right there, but it's so different from everything else in the local community. So the efforts that the club goes to kind of make sure that isn't the case and make sure it's fully integrated in the communities is incredibly important. And you see it. I've seen it over the last 5-10 years. The changes. You almost notice them on a daily basis. And
crazy,
and it's really easy to forget. We walk up that ramp every morning in the way fans would do on the way to a game, but we walk in to work, or to study, and that's an incredibly aspirational thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I've found over the last few years that every time I've recruited a member of staff, I've been quite pleased. So I managed to, sell them a great thing. It turns out they're just a Spurs fan and they just want to come to the stadium.
That's the prerequisite.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I end up doing that in my firm as well. To be fair, a lot of the people that I employ are Tottenham fans as well. Actually, you brought up Tottenham there. It'd be rude of us not to talk about Spurs just quickly.
Yeah, go for it.
In terms of the on the pitch activities versus kind of off the pitch activities, it's quite well documented, isn't it, that we've got phenomenal facilities as you're showing us today in the academy. We've got phenomenal facilities in terms of stadium, in terms of training ground, in terms of unbelievable players, unbelievable coach, amazing setup. When are we going to start winning stuff, Jan? I mean, is it coming? Do you think? I mean, come on, you're running the school. Is there a mentality that everything is? I suppose what I'm coming from is the mentality of everybody around the club is of excellence, as we are here today. Yeah. Surely that's going to follow on the pitch. Surely it will end up being that, because you've seen the generation of the area, the generation of the trophies, should we say? We can't not mention trophies. Do you see where I'm coming from? I think it's coming, isn't it?
I mean, the foundations have to be there. You try and take all impartiality out of it and just look at the foundations. It has to follow, surely.
Is that similar, Jan, like you say there, you've been here from the start, really, of the school and seen it transform. And I have to also just mention the fact that, to talk about the school's incredible progression within a short space of time, it was named in the Sunday's Times Sixth Form College of the Year in 2020. And that sent even more, I think, 30 students to Oxbridge and many more to support students across Russell Group universities. I mean, you've been a massive, massive part of that. And it feels right that we also give you the opportunity just to, again, speak wonders of obviously seeing those students go on to progress. That must, for you, be an incredible, incredible achievement to see these so students now go on to even a higher level of education with all your guidance?
Yeah, it's incredible, and obviously it's the staff here, but it's the students. You know, it's people like Johnson who do the work day in, day out. It's one thing having the opportunity, but you've got to have the drive and you've got to have the ambition to actually want to take up that opportunity. And I'm always, you know, even 6 years down the line, I'm amazed by the amount of work that students will put in. You know, we've got a couple of students from our first ever year group sitting in a room round the corner talking about how they can continue to be involved in the school, and that's really powerful, right? That's giving back to the local community as well. So, yeah, it's been an incredible few years, and long may the success continue.
Amen. Yeah.
Yeah, and just I suppose finally from me is that, you know, the club's helped raise £30,000 in an auction of player signed merchandise.
Yeah, thanks to everyone who bought that stuff. By the way.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, huge thank you, because it's an extent of the mental health provision for the students. Because again, we were talking before off camera about COVID and the effects of COVID-19 and what that can have, and you know, it's really important, isn't it, Jan, to make sure that we've got that mental health, not just that excellent side, but the mental health side of things covered off, because that is where we're going to start to grow even further from an excellence perspective.
Yeah, and I think making sure that students have ways of kind of dealing with pressure, not just about what happens in these 2 years, it's about how the behaviours they learn for their career, right? And we all have different ways of dealing with times of pressure, just like the players I've met talk about how they deal with pressure, right? So I think, you know, the provision that things like that auction, the mental health provision, is just about helping students to develop those coping mechanisms and being able to like flourish as people, because ultimately it's not just about grades, is it? It's about going on and being a really well-adjusted human who can make the most of their future. And I hope that's what we're able to do. But yeah, like you say, the support of people through things like that auction is we wouldn't be able to do it otherwise.
It's key, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's absolutely key.
Yeah.
Johnson, what's next for you after you got another year here, or what's your kind of what's your status?
Yeah, no, I'm in year 13 now, so exams and then university, hoping to study politics and Spanish. And
where have you applied, Johnson? We should probably just mention this.
Do I have to? Right, I applied to Warwick, Oxford, Manchester, Bristol, and Exeter.
Incredible.
Nice.
Can I just say, Johnson, firstly, thanks so much for coming along today. Obviously, it's a real privilege for us to be in your company. And like I say, for us, I think to hear a little bit of your story from Tottenham, around the local area. Have you got a message for any listeners that are viewers that are watching this right now that are umming and ahhing about their future? And if an opportunity like this was to come up, what would you say to them?
Always take opportunities. Always take opportunities. Even if you don't know where it's going to take you, because there's always going to be something. And yeah, always take opportunities.
I love it. Fantastic, Johnson.
Fantastic.
Jan, it's been a real pleasure having you. Honestly, thank you so much for your time, and just to say a massive thank you on behalf of all of us for giving up your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Been a pleasure.
Thank you, and thank you so much, Johnson. Good stuff, Ricky. Well, fantastic. I mean, you know, to be able to get out in amongst the local community, what Tottenham Hotspur Football Club are doing, and you know the Academy of Excellence here as well is just. It's been fantastic. It's been eye-opening, to be fair.
Yeah, I must also say a massive thank you to Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, because without them it wouldn't be possible. And I think, you know, this opportunity that we've had the chance to record just gives an insight, a glimpse into what goes on behind the scenes at Tottenham. You know, Spurs, we obviously have an impassioned debate on our club every single game, every single match. And
Let's not go there, Rick. Let's not go there.
I know we're during the World Cup now, we can't obviously wait for football to come back, but at the same time, it's been a great opportunity to break away from the rigours of post-match analysis, to take some time out with the football club directly and speak to people directly connected to the heart of Tottenham. So guys, thank you so much. I'm sure, Lee, you'll agree, we won't be away for very long. We've got much more coming.
Absolutely. We've got a packed schedule, haven't we, Rick, to be fair? So go on the socials as normal and you'll find out. I'm sure you'll be listening to Rick's dulcet tones promoting all the shows coming up that we've got through the World Cup break.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, from Johnson, from Jan, from Lee, from myself, guys, as always, please keep safe, keep well. Come on, you Spurs.